you could treat me right. Way oh, oh. Boy, take a chance, will you let me ride? Way oh, oh. I could be the best thing in your life. Way oh, oh. You got me singing. Way oh, oh. You look like a guy, you could treat me right. Way oh, oh. Boy, take a chance, will you let me ride? Way oh.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Conservation Street. Today I'm joined by wildlife photographer Jens Cullmann. Thanks for coming on. How are you feeling today?
Hi Louis, I'm fine. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. I'm good. We'll start off with where it all began for you, really. Was it always wildlife photography or did you photograph other things at the start?
Yeah, I got my first camera when I was 14 and it's this time I photographed everything. It's like family members had to suffer. But I was this time already, when I look back, very often out in nature and just took pictures of average things which were there in the nature, some of like trees and some kind of insects and this kind of wildlife stuff you're gonna get as a kid here.
Yeah, just anything in general. Was there any animal that when you photographed early on that you thought, this is what I want to start photographing? I want to photograph wildlife.
No, the wildlife photography actually came much later. It was more just simple interest in photography. At this times we had to develop our films ourselves. A friend of mine and I shot black and white mostly then, and we had our own little development cabin, and so days later we saw the outcome. So it was also something. I first had a book and wrote down picture number 1. I had this in the setting. Picture number 2, I changed the setting, and then I developed it, and then I saw the outcome. That's how I learned actually about all the settings on the camera.
Yeah.
But wildlife came in my early 30s on a trip actually to Africa.
Right. So when was your first expedition out to Africa or anywhere in general?
It was I think it was 32 or so. Yeah, that's already now 18 years ago.
Yeah.
So I got 50. 18 years ago, I was with my former girlfriend. We booked a trip to Namibia and rented a car there, and it was actually quite exciting. Now I would say Namibia is the beginner land for Africa because it's very safe, good infrastructure. But this time was quite an adventure. Just driving from Namibia, we went to Botswana through the Kalahari as well, and that's how it started actually.
Yeah, is there any favourite places in Namibia that you like to go to?
Namibia, I like the remoteness. It's more the northwest up to Kaukofeld towards the border to Angola. You can travel there for days and don't see many people at all. So it's
nice to escape from people.
Yeah, if you like it, yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's nice.
It's very vast, Namibia, isn't it?
It is. It's a nice countryside. It's so stunning. Landscape, everything changes a lot just by driving. It's never boring if you like landscape and remoteness. Yeah. But it's for me, it's a stunning place. Yeah.
Is Namibia one of the easiest places to spot wildlife, or?
I wouldn't say for wildlife, but for traveling, for let's say, like camping or camping in the wild or bush camping or whatever you call it. It's quite an easy place to start with, I think. And you don't have this overload of wildlife like in other places where you don't know as a beginner maybe how to handle when a hippo comes out of the river and just walks by your campsite, or elephants just pass by in grass and whatever. So it's Namibia is more a safe place, yeah.
Less dangerous. Yeah. Speaking on that topic, have you ever had any scary moments whilst you've been out there?
I think we should ask the animals who was in encounter with me. We say sort of threatening or dangerous. For me, I never felt really threatened. Maybe once, it was last year, first time an elephant cow actually attacked me.
Wow.
But this was due to there was a pack of wild dogs and they chased me with the wild dogs. The wild dogs were gone. And I was suddenly in her way, and they just went towards me then. And I had my escape route planned wisely before, so I jumped down a bank and just around the bush, and the jeep just carried on then. But this is also maybe due to stress because it was a special year last year. It was drought and all animals suffered, and so there's more stress to animals anyway. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So they were already quite angry because of the wild dogs, so they took it out on you.
Yeah.
So you've got obviously you're going to be coming to positions quite often. So do you always plan an escape route? I imagine.
I mean, like in this one particular park in Zimbabwe in Manapus, I only walk there. I mean, it's you're allowed to walk there, and it gives me a lot of freedom as a photographer because I can go wherever I want and stay for a long time or walk behind animals. And I try to plan my escape routes. Yes, of course, it's always good because you never know what's going to happen. And of course, also the one thing is first respect the animal and don't go too close, or you have to read the signs when they feel not comfortable. Sometimes, but usually, it's fine.
Yeah. On the topic of man and pools, one of your fans, I think he's got it written down here, W. Riley was his Instagram name. He said, "What's the best place in Manor Pools for photography?"
To what to?
What's the best place in Manor Pools for photography?
Manor Pools is a very small park. I mean, it's everywhere anything can happen. So it's either you stay there for hours on a pool and watch animals go drinking there. I mean, they can also crocs shoot out and try to catch impalas or whatever.
Yeah.
Or anywhere can have it. It's a small park anyway, so it's everywhere. Exciting.
It's just about being in the right location, really, isn't it? In the right time.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you have any favorite animals to photograph?
Good question. Of course, as a photographer, if you have many species you photographed in your life, you always go for the rare sightings. I mean, animals which you hardly see. That's, of course, on top of the wish list. But I mean, favorite, I would say, I mean, like animals which are doing something, like, for example, wild dogs or painted dogs. At this time when in Manor Pools it's end of dry season and they stop denning and have the puppies with them, so it's never boring to watch them because there's always some kind of interaction and something happens.
Yeah.
And this I would say probably is my favorite animal, yes, in a way, yes.
Yeah, because they're excitable, aren't they? They're always up to something.
Yeah, so also, yeah.
Some great moments to capture. Is there any like 3 tips that you'd give to people who are out for doing wildlife photography in general? Just 3 main tips for someone starting out in wildlife photography.
Patience.
Yeah, definitely.
Patience. No, patience definitely. It's one of the things, and also and learn to observe your surroundings and maybe don't be too hectic on a sighting because animals will also feel it. I mean, it's move slowly or better just stay. Because sometimes you think in a bad position, but things can change in front of you so quick that the situation changes and you're in the best position suddenly. So it's patience. Don't get too hectic in a sighting, and just watch and see and yeah.
Yeah. So the main one being just be patient.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Stick to your guns, and something could happen.
Yeah.
Next, we'll go to some fan questions now. Someone asked, I think it's Goody or Judy, goes into the bush, said, "How often do you visit Southern Africa, and how long do you spend there?"
I mean, okay, this year is a little bit of an exception, but normally I make 2 trips to Africa per year, and that's around about 3 months, 2 to 3 months. I stay in a row in Africa, in southern countries like yeah.
Nice. And another one, someone said, "Do you know the hyena photograph where it's really close to you?"
Yes.
Someone said, "Did you have to change your underwear after that?"
I mean, to be honest, this photograph looks spectacular, but it's not, because the hyena is actually much bigger. And the hyena was not in the same line as the camera. It was actually 3 to 4 meters behind me, next to me. So, and with the picture, it looks like it's in front of and facing my camera lens, but it's actually not. It was just, there was a dead elephant in front of me, and the hyena was just wandering and walking around. And a friend of mine took this picture from the side from me, and the hyena was pretty far away. No, it wasn't scared at all. It was hyenas are not dangerous for us unless we are injured or so, but it's
They have a bad reputation, don't they? So
that's
everyone
unfortunate
thinks
for them, yes, but they're quite cool animals actually.
Yeah, I think so too. Quite fascinating actually. Also, so it was about the angle on that photograph that made it look special.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Was there only one hyena there?
Say again?
Was there only one hyena there, or was there a clan?
It's a clan, but they're patrolling. It was next to a lake. They're patrolling this lake every once in a while, and this time was only one. Yes.
Ah, right, yeah. Moving on to another question. This is more about the equipment you use, and it was Lily, and she said, "What camera and lens do you use the most?" And yeah, that was it actually. Sorry, what camera and lens do you use the most?
So do you have to make now advertising? Of course, it's an SLR camera, and I use my 2 lenses actually. It's a 200-400 because it gives me the chance to zoom in and out, and a 300 2.8. It's because it's not so heavy as a 200-400 millimeter lens. So yeah.
Yeah. So do you? And they also added to that question. Do you have any favorite lenses and cameras for certain situations? But I suppose that changes really, doesn't it?
I mean, I use 2 bodies, and that's the same bodies, the same camera, and one is more with a wide-angle lens, or sometimes my 70-200 lens.
Yeah.
The other one is the 200-400 millimeter lens. That's actually the 2 because they give me the, what's the name in English, versatility to play around with the zoom. Yeah. Especially when you walk, you always feel you have the wrong lens with you. The photography thing, yeah.
So do you carry a lot of equipment with you, or do you just pack the essentials?
No, I have a lot of equipment. In a couple of years, a lot of things came together. But when you walk in the bush, I have only one camera with me. Mostly. Sometimes, very seldom, I have a backpack with a wide-angle lens with me as well. But usually only my camera and me, nothing else.
Yeah. Another question I'd like to ask you is, if you could go and photograph one place for the rest of your life, that's the only place you can go to, where would you pick?
Mana pools again, yeah.
Mana pools.
Yeah.
What's your
in diversity of game, I think there are other parks which have much more game, but it's a freedom I have there as a photographer, and do my thing. I mean, it's risky to walk alone, and I also had to learn this, and it took me quite a while. I mean, to walk in between, and not in between animals, but in the bush and have animals next to me, and I heard of springbok there or whatever. So it just needs practice in a way, to see or to learn how animals behave, and think about the escape route as well when you walk. That's always things I do. I try to do.
Yeah, so it's quite cool to be able to have the freedom and be on foot there, isn't it?
Yes, and as I said, I can walk. I also can shoot low angle, which gives a total different position, or the image comes across much different, totally different.
Yeah. Apart from Africa, is there somewhere else in the world that you like to visit also?
Of course, I'd love to see a lot of places, but the year has only 65 days, and I have other things to do as well. So, I mean, I like traveling in general. I mean, Iceland is on the bucket list, or Alaska is on the bucket list.
Some quite cool places there to go to, isn't there? I mean, the world's so big. There's loads of opportunities. Definitely. And a final question I have for you is, what animal haven't you photographed that you do want to photograph? It's on the top of your list.
An aardvark.
Oh, that'd be nice. Quite rare to spot.
Yes, very rare to find. Actually, that's I already made a year ago, no, 2 years ago in the meantime, we made a safari with friends in Botswana to an area which is not a park, but next to a park, and we were specifically looking for artworks because they're supposed to be in this area. And we saw fresh diggings and everything, but we haven't found the artwork, so it's still high on the list.
Bit gutting that, isn't it? Right. Thanks for coming on. It's been nice to listen to what you've got to say, and I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. And thanks for everyone who's watched. Please head down below and subscribe. Thank you and goodbye.
Thanks for your time, Louis.
No problem.